Aloha, I am John Roth, and this is Just Ask John, where I, an estate planning attorney, answer your estate planning questions. So as an estate planning attorney, I help people plan to make sure their wishes are carried out in the event of their incapacity or death. It's a will, power of attorney, healthcare directive, maybe a trust. A lot of people think estate planning is just for what happens to my stuff when I die, but just as important is what happens to me in the event that I'm living but unable to manage my own affairs, including healthcare. So today we have Karyn Clay, a local expert. She is the owner of Ho'onani Care Home and Ho'onani Day Center, here to share with us her experience and expertise regarding that period in your life where you may need help managing your own healthcare. So Karyn, at what point, because I know capacity is not always black and white. For estate planning, we're always trying to figure out a proactive approach before the point in time where you're unable to make decisions on your own. So regarding healthcare, at what point, what are you looking for to help identify when somebody needs more help with their healthcare?
I think a lot of times, a lot of family members start to see some signs or get a little, kind of like their instinct tells them that something is off, but they don't really know where to go from there. They don't want to offend the loved one and directly asking them or challenging them questions. And sometimes they do ask challenging questions and they just get defensive. So really I say you need to do your detective work. You want to check the fridge, make sure foods aren't expiring. Maybe just kind of look around the house when they aren't watching you. You don't want them to feel like they're under your scrutiny, but you want to check the bathroom, see if it looks like the toothbrushes are being used, are medications being taken, and that kind of thing. That's just the subtle start where you can kind of keep an eye on things. Another thing a lot of families do, they'll just ask them a lot of questions like, what did you eat this morning? Well, if the family member doesn't know what they ate, then the person can say anything and they don't know if it's true. So really knowing the answer to a question before you ask it, and just ask it innocently, not like, what'd you eat? Not like an interrogation, but more, oh, I had the best oatmeal today. What did you have? And if they say something totally different than what they had, then you already have a clue that they might not be remembering details.
Right. Because sometimes it's not very easy to identify whether someone needs more help.
Yeah, they're very good at covering it up.
Yeah.
Of course, because people always want to fight for their independence. They want to stay home. They don't want their family to worry about them. It's a pride thing, but also it's just hard to let go of the fact that we are able to be on our own, and they're afraid of what might happen. Will I suddenly get put into a place? They don't know about all the different options.
Are my keys going to be taken away from me? Right.
Exactly.
You just brought up options. What are people's options if they're unable to live on their own? If you've identified that your mom or dad is living by themselves and shouldn't be?
The common reaction is to jump to mom has to move in with us or dad has to go live somewhere if they don't live in the same state or community. So you really can start with smaller steps. You can get somebody, even if it's a friend or a neighbor, or if they have a church affiliate, someone that just starts taking them maybe to an appointment or running grocery runs for them or things like that. Just small steps at first. Depending on how receptive the person is to it, bringing in an agency from that point who can be there for longer windows and actually have some more of a skill set to help with bathing or activities of daily living. And then there would be the larger step from there, which would be entering a day program, and then ultimately if they needed full-time care. And if they want to bring them into their home, that's a wonderful option as well. It really depends on the relationship they have. Sometimes there's a lot of tension that can occur when you bring mom in to your family, and especially if you're raising children still. I've seen a lot of stressed out caregivers who are trying to help their kids with whatever issues they may be having as they go through puberty, and then they're also worried about their parents, and then their spouse isn't feeling like they get enough time. So really assessing that situation before the individual moves in with you, and also what their health and social needs may be that might not be met at home. That actually might be, even though you love them and you want to do the best for them, there are professional settings which would actually help them to thrive even more successfully and be more understanding about what they're forgetting and not challenging them on those questions of what did you eat today. They think the families will think they're helping, but sometimes they're really putting the person on defense more often than they need to be. So that's nice to consider all the different steps, all the different options. And there are, in America, we have the area agencies on aging. They usually have a resource center that tells you about what is available in your own community that can help you with just that starting point of what options are there.
For my clients, we are doing proactive planning, because in estate planning, you have to be making these decisions on your own in advance for a time in the future where you can't make them for yourself because of incapacity or death. For healthcare, we do an advanced healthcare directive, but that doesn't address the type of care we're talking about right now. Is there something that people can do in advance to help them with these types of decisions that have to be made regarding their own healthcare?
It's not common, and it would be wonderful if people would really consider what their options could be besides that one dream of, I want to live at home as long as I can, no matter what it takes.
Right.
If you think ahead about what other options are in your communities that would actually appeal to you, and being clear about that first in your own heart and mind, and then to really communicate it to your family.
Either like write it down or
Yeah.
have these conversations.
Yeah, a lot of times people start trying to have the conversation, and one side or the other, oh, Dad, don't talk about that, or oh, honey, I'll never do that, just
It's
throw me
hard to
over a
talk
cliff
about.
if I need it.
Right, exactly.
People kind of go to the extreme or the joke, but really if they don't feel comfortable with the conversation, to write it down. So there's some sort of a roadmap. We never know
Right.
what's going to happen, but as long as you have it clear in your own mind and you've told some people or made it clear, that's a great way to start.
Right, because kids always feel, in my experience, because I talk to parents and children, that they're obligated to take care of their parent. They have to. But then I also talk to parents, and they say, I don't want my kids to take care of me.
Yeah.
But then at the point where someone's capacity isn't clear and they're not really able to make their own decisions, and people are making decisions for them,
Those decisions,
just,
they're
we don't
usually
know.
based on guilt. They're always,
Right.
it's usually the kid saying, I should do this. And then they start assuming what their parent would want, when ultimately a parent most often does not want their child's life to be negatively impacted by their needs for care. And often it does happen because children put it on themselves to take care of their parent while they're caring for children, or to overstretch themselves, and then to have their own physical issues, because
Right.
the chronic stress does weigh on them, and next thing you know, they're having some sort of health condition too that the parent would never want them to experience.
Right. So it sounds like, in addition to estate planning, where we make proactive decisions in advance, maybe in healthcare, there should be that same type of,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whether it would be a document or just a conversation you have in advance regarding these care options.
Yeah, because they just do like the advanced healthcare directives, which are more the serious health issues.
Right.
But what about social issues, that if the individual needs some social help due to dementia?
Where would they like to be? How
Yeah.
would they like to be taken care of?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Karyn, for joining us today on Just Ask John. We will have more local experts regarding their different areas of expertise in future Just Ask John episodes. So again, thank you very much, and aloha.
Aloha.